Hello and welcome to the Pickup WNBA podcast. I'm your host, Catherine Niker.
And I'm your other host, Freddie Rivas. What's up?
And this is episode 93,
Yes,
baby.
we did it.
We've got so much to get into this
Mm-hmm.
week in the world of the league, on the court, off the court. But first, I would like to share a story with our audience about how Freddie and I survived a wild storm yesterday. Freddie, you invited me for lunch with your wife Caitlin and your son Remy,
Mm-hmm.
and
Into the eye of the storm.
well, okay, don't jump ahead here. And this isn't something we do on a regular basis. It was very spontaneous on your part, and I appreciated the invite. I said yes. When I left my place to meet up with you, it was sunny out. And then I get to your place, and then we start, we load up the car and we're driving, and it starts raining, and we're kind of like, oh, it's looking a little ominous out here. And then as we got closer to where we were going to go, the roads started flooding. Like the actual street was flooding, and we didn't even make it to where we wanted to go eat. We had to detour. We discovered a mall we had never been to before, and
Yeah.
we ended up having lunch in the mall food court, which ended up being great.
It was a
But
wonderful time. There was a dance battle in the mall.
and I was like, it was so funny because Caitlin was like, oh, this really turned out. What a great day. And I was like, low key, like I could have just stayed home.
Mm-hmm.
I could have said no to the spontaneous lunch.
Yep.
I could have been totally fine, but I'm out with you guys. And it was crazy. Like literally the streets started flooding and we had to like get off the road. It was wild.
And it was a classic Freddie Catherine split. Because I was like, wow. Like this is like, we've made the best of this. We got papusas. This is wonderful. And Catherine was like, yeah, we made the best of it, but like, it's not a good sitch. This is kind of bad. And then, yeah, but you know what though? We ate, we were merry. We checked out a
Yeah.
couple. Catherine checked out like a weird, what was that? That a weird, like sort of like UR40 type
Yeah,
souvenir thing that
yeah.
was too expensive.
It was $50.
Yeah.
And I'm not spending $50 on something that says 40 on it.
Fair.
Right? I feel like
Very
it should
fair.
be $40.
Yeah, we saw a bunch of gumball machines. Catherine asked a very valid question. How old do we think those gumballs are? And no one had an answer because, frankly, those gumballs could have been old. Like real
Oh,
old.
so here's the thing. Let's give some context. So we went to in Toronto. It was called the North York Sheridan Mall
Which is confusing because there is already a Sheridan Mall,
somewhere else.
like in like west of Toronto.
Anyway, so I'd never even heard of this place before. And it was like time traveling. Like the
Mm-hmm.
whole decor and everything inside felt like it was from 30 years ago. And like they hadn't updated this mall once. And it was like kind of beautiful. I was like, this would be an amazing film location
Mm-hmm.
for like, like a Stranger Things or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you wouldn't even have to redecorate this mall. You could just film in here. And then the pupusas we got, Pupusas Express,
Delicious.
such good food in this middle of nowhere kind of place. And we even like had to struggle to park because there were like flooding happening in the parking lot, but
Mm-hmm.
we ended up finding a spot that was okay. But yeah, and then we just had to wait it out for like an hour and a half, and that was just a strange adventure that you invited me to be a part of. And I just felt like we had to mention it because we were surviving together.
Yeah. We have pictures from it. DM us. We can share those pictures with you. I'll say this: best day of my life. I will also say follow us on all socials. At the Pickup WNBA Pod on Twitter, on Insta, the Pickup WNBA Pod 1050.
Yes.
Let's go.
Oh
YouTube.
God.
Follow us, subscribe, comment, boost us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Help us
Great
get
thing.
out of YouTube algorithm jail.
Yeah.
All right. Just fun adventures I wanted to talk about off the top. Also, I felt like I was bonding with your son more. He's 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I got him to
Great.
smile a few times, held him for a bit. I feel like we're buddies, you know?
Yeah, he's making all these grunting sounds. You saw him squirm around a bunch. He's in a squirmy, grunty phase. It's a good time.
Oh yeah, but that's typical, you know?
Yeah.
But I still got him to smile even though he's squirmy.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you know, you got the jokes, you got the silliness.
For the YouTube audience, look, I'm wearing the same shirt.
Huge. We won't talk about the shirt I'm wearing or lack of a shirt, because I will say when I rolled up to the recording, Catherine just calmly said, "Are you wearing that?" And
no, I said, "What are you wearing?"
Oh yeah, and I didn't know.
Freddie's wearing a peach-colored tank top.
But here's the deal: I'm gonna hold it up to the camera. It is a WNBA.
I don't think that's a WNBA tank top. I think that's a Women's Basketball Hall of Fame tank top.
It is. I'm so sorry. But it's the colors of the WNBA. So.
Oh God. Okay, we got to move on. We got to move on. This is utter madness.
Episode 93. Let's go.
All right. So look, we gotta talk about Dearica Hamby and this latest lawsuit that she is filing against the WNBA and the Las Vegas Aces.
Yeah.
Essentially, we have more details into the harassment and discrimination accusations that she made after she was traded back in January 2023. She believes that she was traded because she was pregnant, and she talked about how she was treated differently after letting the team know she was pregnant. Becky Hammon last year had a 2-game suspension after an internal WNBA investigation that led to basically them saying, I don't have the exact phrasing in front of me, but just not appropriate workplace practices. So she was suspended for 2 games. And, you know, I think a lot of us thought that we had kind of moved on from this, but now she's filing another lawsuit because she feels the WNBA did not do enough. We've learned more details about this lawsuit that, you know, with the Aces, she was promised housing. She was promised to private school tuition for her daughter. Apparently, her private school tuition bills were not paid by the team. She tried to get the trade rescinded, and obviously that didn't happen. And I think there are other accusations of just like intimidation and things of that nature. And the fact that these are perks that the Aces are promising her and possibly other players on the team that other players on different teams don't get. So there's a lot of different issues here. So there's the discrimination around her pregnancy. That's not okay. And then there's the other issue about these, you know, quote unquote kickbacks that the Aces have been trying to do for their players that make things competitively imbalanced across the rest of the league. I hope I did a good job breaking that down.
Yeah, you know, there's so much to unpack here, and I was even going to come at it from a couple different angles than you already did, but you know, you said a couple things. I feel like
I'm just trying to do like a broad overview, and then we'll like get into the weeds of it, I think.
Yeah. Let's get into it, because like this is juicy. So like one thing I'll add before we get into it is, you know, just as far as the punishment, they also took a draft pick away.
Oh yeah, their 2025 first round draft pick is gone. But that was unrelated. Wasn't that related to something else?
So here's where I'm confused, and like here's where I'm just like generally like I don't know. So listeners, let me know. Catherine, if you know, great. At around this time,
Mhm.
The Aces were also like, you know, it was also kind of nefarious, and like people were, sort of like emoji eyes about like how they acquired Candace Parker. And, was this like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge? Um, and then, sort of fast forward, like, to Hammond's most recent comments. So Hammond said, Hamby's pregnancy wasn't a problem, and it never was why we made the decision. We made the decision to move Hamby because we could get 3 bodies in her one contract. Weird way to talk about people. And we
Yeah.
wanted to get 3 more people in. I think it's very evident with who we signed and why we made the move. So the clear insinuation there is
Candace Parker.
this was like, this needed to happen to bring over Candace. So like, yeah. So just to kind of go back to what you're saying, it's unclear to me whether this is, it's sort of like, did the Aces have 2 infractions and they were kind of like, this was like a slap on the wrist or like a punishment from the league, just because, Aces and Liberty have gotten in trouble before for like these sort of like doing things, looking for these competitive advantages.
Okay, so I can
owners,
answer this question.
Yeah.
Sorry, just before we,
Yeah,
go
please.
too far off. So the first round pick, the 2025 first round pick, was for a different violation, and
Okay.
that was regarding impermissible player benefits, which happened to involve Dearica Hamby.
I see. So it is connected, but it is also separate. Got it.
Yeah, so it was a different
Gotcha.
violation. And I think like, there's a lot of layers to this. So let's try to break it down in like subcategories, right? So we're not like kind of jumping all over the place too much. So there is the pregnancy discrimination, right? That's like one major part. And then the other major part is additional player benefits.
Yes.
That she lost as a result of being traded.
Yes.
Because I remember a while ago, probably early 2023, when all of this first came out, I remember thinking there's no way, and maybe we even said on this podcast, there's no way this is just about being traded, because players get traded, right? Like there's no way it could just be about that. I just had this feeling like there's got to be something else going on. So let's start with the pregnancy discrimination, right? Does that work for you, Freddie? And then we'll move on to the player benefits side of this, and then we'll kind of culminate it together.
I love it. This is systematic.
That's how this is why you need me.
I'm into
in your life. Not gonna lie. Honestly, Caitlin too. Caitlin is like, Catherine, I need you to just put things in order.
It helps.
For Freddie.
It helps.
Love that. Okay.
Cross a couple T's, dot a couple I's. Let's go,
All right. So so pregnancy discrimination. Dearica Hamby cites that she was treated differently after she told the team she was pregnant with her second child. She has accused Becky Hammon of essentially asking her if she, quote, planned this pregnancy, basically insinuating that she signed her contract and then like weeks later she got pregnant, and that Dearica Hamby did this somewhat deliberately to take advantage of these additional player benefits that she was receiving. And obviously Dearica Hamby took offense to that accusation.
And right? Also, I think I don't want to project here, but I think it's relevant that Dearica Hamby announced that she was pregnant at the victory parade.
Yes, I remember that. And she said what she was going to name her son, Legend.
Yeah. So, and I think there, yeah, I mean, sorry, continue. I have like a sort of a theory, but I want you to continue to sort of consolidate.
No, go ahead.
Well, it's just, to me, this is really sort of giving like power vibes. The way Hammond's talked, the way that Hammond was punished, and you know, the way that these, I know we're going to get to the benefits later, but the way that these benefits were like, they're yours if you play our game. And I think, perhaps they were thinking about trading her anyways. And maybe this made it more difficult to trade her or whatever. Like they were like, we can't trade someone who's pregnant. And like who knows? I don't want to like just like totally like throw out random ideas, but there's just an element of control here. And I feel like the announcement, this joyous moment for Hamby and this exciting viral moment for all of us, if you were someone who was thinking about a player as a body, then
Right.
perhaps the announcement of like another incoming body wasn't perfect for your plans. And I'm sort of, I think I want to take a couple steps back from like demonizing Hammond, because she's not the whole organization. I don't know exactly what went down, how it went down. It's just that the comments are so callous that it sort of, I feel like I perk up hearing that type of language around people and what they're going through. And
Yeah, it's a red flag for you.
yeah, and I should say, like in this ESPN article I'm reading by I always want to make sure I pronounce his name right, but Michael Vopel, who's a senior writer, writes a lot on the W. There also is a Becky quote about how she had a great relationship with Hamby, and it's a really hard thing that like she hates to do, but it's a part of the business. So
That's in reference to being traded.
it is, yes. So yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I also read an article about this by NPR, which had a few more comments by her and her lawyers,
Mm-hmm.
where they basically said, look, like players are on notice now that if you get pregnant while being a part of the league, that this could alter your career opportunities. And that is a very interesting statement to me, because I feel like what it appears to be right now today is that this appears to be organization specific to the Aces,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because like being pregnant did not hurt Nafisa Collier's career.
That's
with
right.
the Lynx,
That's
right? And I think like even like Skylar Diggins-Smith had a fallout with the Mercury, and now she's with the Storm, but I wouldn't say it hurt her career.
Mm-hmm.
To my knowledge, there could have been stuff happening with the Mercury that we don't know about, but I don't, based on the information we have, I don't believe it hurt her career. So I think this is a very interesting statement, and I don't know what opportunity she lost, or if they're going to end up in court. Like if this is actually going to go to trial and she's going to prove these things. But I think the fact that last year Becky Hammond got a 2-game suspension means that there is evidence.
I think it's an admission of guilt, and the punishment didn't suffice for Hamby.
Okay, so this is a good jumping off point for me for the second part of this that I want to talk about. Are you okay to move on to the second part?
Can I just add one thing? Yeah,
Absolutely.
So to me, I think this is just like more, and we'll be talking about this like I think until it happens, but just like throw another like ingredient in the next CBA negotiation, because like
oh yeah, this is gonna be wild. I agree.
It's already been something that's been fought for so hard, and it's so unique to this league. But like this to me, yeah, like I think I'm really happy you brought out the league wide thing, because like that's true about Collier, but like also what about people planning to get pregnant, and like someone who just had a kid, like there's a lot of different, sometimes it's very planned, sometimes it's not planned, and it's like we were very planned, but like also that's just nobody's business, period. And anyways, yeah, it's like, it's a bigger picture thing where it's like, that can't really be a part of, you're taking away sort of like a right of a woman to have her career like unimpeded by, what she chooses to do with her body.
Absolutely. And that is an issue that is for all women in the workplace, right? Like that's, that goes beyond this league, but this league is an example of what happens to women in the workplace who choose to have kids sometimes. Okay. The player benefits.
Yeah.
I have a bit of a theory. This is pure speculation in my own opinion, that I believe the reason why Dearica Hamby is fighting so hard is, yes, the discrimination I'm sure hurt, and I'm sure it was traumatizing. I have been discriminated against in the workplace and it's awful. But I think being promised housing and private school for your kids by a billionaire, essentially, right? Like he would be fitting the bill.
Mm-hmm.
And then to lose that is a lot to lose.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
that's,
Like
that's
I don't
a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. And I think like, yes, I'm sure it was traumatizing. Yeah. Yes, I'm sure, people said and did things that were inappropriate to a woman who's pregnant in the workplace. But I don't think that alone is the reason for this lawsuit. I think she's like, no, you promised me housing. You promised to put my child in private school. And why am I going to let this billionaire get off discriminating against me, failing to, uphold these promises for no reason? Because Dearica Hamby is a very good player. She's an all-star. Her career actually is better with the Sparks than it was with the Aces.
Yeah,
Because she's got a bigger role and everything. Like
two times six woman of the year.
Yeah, but my point is that like with the Aces, yes, she won championships. She was, sixth person of the year. But with the Sparks, it's like she's a starter. She averages almost a double-double. She's an all-star. Like she's fulfilling an Olympian. Like she is fulfilling her potential as a player more on the Sparks than she was with the Aces. She would have been buried on the bench on that team. So I feel like, even though the Sparks has been, in my personal view, better for her just on a basketball court career level, these other teams cannot beat the benefits, these added financial benefits that Aces players are being promised. And that is a larger issue for the league. So here's the thing. So there's the private school tuition, there's the housing. These are the two main things that have been cited in this lawsuit. But also remember earlier this year that Las Vegas Tourism Board promised every player $100,000. So in her view, this is my opinion, so I don't, she didn't cite this in the lawsuit specifically, but I imagine in her opinion, that's just another financial incentive that she lost out on from being traded. And now, because one team has all these advantages that other teams don't have, you can't just say being traded is part of the business.
Yeah. Well said. And I think we talked about this, ad nauseum, but I really do think that the Aces, the Liberty, they're pushing the league in the right direction, but also they're pushing the league and they're pushing the rules and they're playing fast and loose with some of this stuff. And one part of me is like, that really is like messed up what happened to Hamby. Another part of me, to be honest, is what's up with the Sparks? Why are they so cheap? Because if you're the Sparks and you're hearing this, you're seeing all this, maybe your owner should be like, listen, we got you covered. Private school for your kid, got you. Housing, got that too. But they're not doing it. And I'm sure that they could say like, well, it's not like, legal and we can't, it's not within the rules. And it's like, well, the Aces and the Liberty, they're going for it. They're best facilities, best like staff. They're making sure that every other place where you can give advantages to the players, they're giving advantages to their players. And yeah, I mean, to then, I guess, to be traded from that team is devastating, like on a lot of levels.
That's an interesting point. I mean, I think the league, this ownership group that exists within the WNBA need to
I'd love to be a fly in the wall.
Yeah, they need to figure it out, right? Because, some team owners are investing on a level that others are not. Rules or no rules, right? Like even like the Phoenix Mercury, they have a new practice facility. They named it after Taurasi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's within the rules, but they're saying like, hey, we're whether we're winning a championship or not,
also
this is a good place to be, and a new owner. So it's like, it's just, there's a balance to this, and I don't like the Aces running things like it's the Wild West. But yeah, I don't know if the Sparks are being cheap. That might be a lot. I don't know. Maybe they are.
I also don't know either. And it could also be that they are doing what I just said they are, but Hamby's still like, you still screwed me over, so I'm coming at you. Like, I don't actually know, right? But it just makes me think, because it's like this owner dynamic's been so interesting. And with the Oracle group coming in, good God. Like, that group has more money than anyone here. Actually, that's not true, because the Liberty ownership group is insane.
But they're up there. They're up there.
But yeah, they're like, the Warriors are the second biggest, franchise in the world. So they're coming in, like their stuff is going to be like top. So the league, if you are an owner that is, not really like pushing it, then like you're getting outclassed, and it's going to hurt.
Well, the opposite could happen in that they could decide they're not interested in being a part of the league anymore.
That's true, but I think the trend of the league is
upward. So then
if you're one of those people
would buy.
Yeah, people would buy, and they'd be like, I see where this league's
going. LeBron James would buy a franchise in a minute.
Yeah, I think people see that this league is exploding.
That's true. Very interesting stuff. I mean, I don't know. Do we have more to say about the situation in general?
Not really, but it is fascinating, and some stories, I think, I think you put it well. It seemed like it had a conclusion, and the fact that it doesn't have a conclusion makes it a lot more interesting, actually.
Yeah. There's one more thing I wanted to say about this, and that is, the WNBA did that internal investigation last year. We don't know the details of that investigation, other than that it led to the 2-game suspension of Becky Hammon. And that Dearica Hamby side feels that wasn't enough, that it was, quote, a slap on the wrist. I do think the league handled this, I don't want to say poorly, but poorly in that I think if they sat down, right, like the Aces owner, Dearica Hamby's people, Kathy Engelbert, and were like, we just need to agree on a financial settlement here, it would have gone away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like he's a billionaire and he promised to pay this woman's, child's school tuition, yada, yada. I just feel like if they had made an effort to settle it, it could have been settled. But I think the reason that didn't happen is because, well, how are the other teams going to feel about this?
Yeah.
Now, does every player who gets traded need a financial settlement because they aren't receiving kickbacks they were promised?
And if you're the league, who do you want to go to war with? The big money owners or the small money owners? And I think that's one of the biggest sort of like underlying themes of since me and you started podcasting. I think it's just been bubbling and bubbling and bubbling. And it's gonna hit a full breaking point. Like, do you want to chase the big money away from this league, or do you want to put pressure on the small money? Because those two aren't gonna get along much longer.
Well said. Okay, let's move on and talk about some basketball stuff here. The Liberty Aces had a bit of a finals rematch. The Liberty won. They have now officially clinched their spot in the playoffs. The Aces have had a bumpy road this season, but they still look very for real when you see them, and they're still who they are on paper. Do you think, though, that this year the Liberty could be for real?
I think I've officially gone from the Aces have to, you just have to like wait to the playoffs to like count them out, to thinking that the Liberty should be the championship favorite.
Ooh, okay.
It's not that they like can't be beaten. Because I also think the Sun and the Lynx, I think the league is not like it was last year. Like it's a lot, even though the Liberty are 23-4. It's not the two team super team dynamic. Like I really think these top four teams are all incredible. And I would definitely put the Aces, even though their record isn't as good as the Lynx or the Sun. I would put the Aces for sure above those teams. Asia Wilson and Jackie Young and Kelsey Plum and Chelsea Gray. It's they're so stacked, and Hammond and all of that. But the Liberty, they just have the vibe of a team that has been like spurned, and the way that they're like taking care of business each and every night, it just has championship vibes, in my opinion.
I mean, I agree. They're 23-4. They've won their last 6 in a row, which I imagine includes before the Olympic
they've
break.
won their 2 games back.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree. They're looking very strong. I am so curious. Like, I can't wait to see what the Lynx look like in this year's playoffs, because they're kind of, they're the new rising star, I guess, so to speak, in terms of like teams that are expected to make a deeper playoff run. And yeah, I think the Connecticut Sun are going to be right there in the mix, but it would be a proper upset if they were in the finals. I mean, it would be the shock of the season, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And two things with this game I feel like are interesting as well, besides them clinching the playoffs. Jonquil Jones finished three assists shy of a triple-double and was dominant under the boards. The former MVP joined Lisa Leslie, Candace Parker, and Alyssa Thomas as the only players in WNBA history to record at least 17 rebounds, 10 points, and 7 assists in a regular season game.
Damn.
Which is like pretty nuts stat line. This is a Bleacher Report article, by the way. And the other thing is it's one of those stats that's like a little bit confusing to read, but basically it's a coach accomplishment. So Sandy Brondello became the first coach in WNBA history to lead her team to the playoffs each of her first 12 seasons in the league. So I guess the caveat there is there's other coaches who have led their teams to 12 postseasons, but none have done it
in a row
and like basically started, and she's just never missed the playoffs.
Wow.
And change teams. So it's like Sandy Brondello is absolutely for real. And also, I will say this, coached the shit out of that Australia team, which ended up winning a bronze.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. Lauren Jackson,
shout out.
Yeah, I mean, look, this noise, what we talked about with Dearica Hamby and stuff, it didn't hurt the Aces last season winning a championship, right? I don't think it will hurt them this year, but time will tell, like, as this develops. But yeah, it's just
the Aces, by the way, look good in this game.
Yeah, like, look, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just have to say, watch it. For anyone that watched this game, I think it was like, first of all, like the first like quarter was insane because like no one was missing shots. Second of all, I love this kind of shit in sports. So like I think it was like 13-14, but the smoke in the building, like a smoke effect went off. Like, please, everybody, YouTube it. So it's like they're playing the Liberty. I forget. I think maybe like Vandersloot. Like I forget who it is. Somebody scores, and then I actually thought it was like a distraction tactic because it was in Vegas, and like a big plume of smoke comes onto the court, and like Stewie is like running back on defense, like pointing to the refs, and she's like, what's going on? Like there's like smoke's billowing out. Yeah, I lost it. I was like, this is fucking amazing.
I did not see that. That's wild. Also Courtney Vandersloot face mask. Did she get a broken nose or something?
I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I was like, oh, maybe during the Olympic break she
Phantom of the Opera fan. I don't know.
Injured her face somehow. But anyway, yeah, look, like I bet against the Aces last year and lived to regret it. And they made sure I would. And I also predicted that also in a way, which is like a little like, not holding my ground on my pick of picking the Liberty last year, but I knew Asia Wilson would have a fire and something to prove. And I wonder, it's hard to go 3 in a row. It's really hard. They can do it. I still believe they'll be there. But yeah, I don't know. The Aces the Liberty are on another level this year for sure. They have that extra year of chemistry, etc. I don't know. If it's them again, I'm really going to look forward to it.
Yeah, I think we need a rematch. Like I don't want, like, these teams need to play each other again. And also, like, I'm just really hoping like everyone's healthy. Like Chelsea is like really starting to look better and better. So I'm hoping that as the season sort of like this back half keeps going, I'm really hoping that Chelsea can get like full health. By the way, I have sent you the clip of the smoke.
Am I supposed to watch this as
I think you should, because I want to see your reaction.
Okay, this is ridiculous. This
is why you got to check us out on YouTube. So Catherine's gonna watch the smoke. It's one of those things, and even the commentators like, and smoke's going out or smoke's coming off in the building. It's just
it's like in the center of the court, like from the ceiling.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to put out a fire. Like I don't know what's going on.
Well, the team was just that hot, Oh my God. Okay. So, look, we want to talk a little bit about Caitlin Clark because, she today, as of this recording Sunday, became the all-time rookie leader in assists, and it's mid-August. So whatever this record is going to be by the end of her season, it's going to be, I think, unmatched for quite some time. I mean, she's come back. I believe they've won 2 in a row. The Fever have. They're looking great. They seem poised.
The Fever lost. Oh no, I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong game.
The
Carry on.
Fever have won for the last 2 in a row.
Yes, they have. Sorry.
Okay. So, I think the Fever right now are making a real playoff push here. And I think they might, depending on who they end up matching up with, right? Which is a big if, but they're looking really good right now. And I feel like they could be a first round spoiler. You know what I mean? Depending on who their matchup is, I just feel like they're making a solid push right now, and it would not. There's a world where they make it to the second round, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think if you're like a Caitlin Clark stan, this must be wonderful for you because it's like there's just a lot of validation going on. Like the game looks really slow for her. I mean, fast. She's doing things fast, but like the way in which she's kind of has her whole team, like her whole team knows to run the court because they're gonna get a pass on the fast break. The 2 women play with like her in Boston is like
Incredible.
out of control good. It's like really, really special chemistry. And before the Olympic break, we talked about this. She was my badass player of the week before we went to break, and she was really starting to hum. And it seems like this rest might be like exactly what the doctor ordered. I mean,
because of their fever.
Because of their fever, huge. I love it. By the way, the Fever also 1 win away from tying their last season win total.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
So they're just below 500 right now, but like you said, like they look really good, and I feel like exactly like you said, I completely agree. They've figured a lot out, and I also think they go into every game believing they can and should win. So their mindset is also, I don't want to say it's shifted because I don't want to say they were like that, like they were different at the beginning of the season. But maybe I do want to say they were different at the beginning of the season. Like I feel like there was an adjustment period.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the adjustment is Caitlin Clark. I think, she really people are sort of like figuring her out more on the team. She's figuring out the team more. I think, when she came into the league, like everyone had their Caitlin Clark game plan. And there was a lot of situations where she was getting rookied, right? And I think she's really starting to adjust. And of course, there's going to be the haters, right? And they're like the complete stands, right? You're going to have people being like, "What about the turnovers?" Then you're going to have people being like, "What about the assists?" And it's just like to me, it's just a basketball thing. Like really aggressive passers turn the ball over a lot. And of course, you want Caitlin to clean up those turnovers, but it's a style thing. And to have that team that explosive on offense, a part of it is really kind of like taking chances and being unafraid reliably. And the team has bought in, and she looks fantastic. And again, I don't think Boston is talked about enough. Like Aaliyah Boston's incredible sophomore year. But yeah, like this is of course the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese here, but that I don't know, man. Like with games like this, that like rookie of the year debate is gonna fade away real quick, and it's gonna be a runaway rookie of the year.
I also think this is going to be my other prediction for the Indiana Fever is that this playoff year is going to make other players on that team stars.
I mean, if like the fact that like we are like looking right now, anyways, at a situation where we're gonna have the Sky and the Fever in the playoffs, it's just like such a dream for the W. And again, I'm sure that the Dream has something to say about that. The Wings, I mean, just disaster year, but like the Dream 2 games in a row. They're coming, but the fact that right now, anyways, we have the Sky and the Fever 7-8 it's just incredible that we're gonna get to see these 2 giant phenoms, Clark and Reese, play in the playoffs. It's gonna be huge.
It is time for a badass player of the week. Who you got?
I'm going a bit funky here, so there's a lot of angles.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go. I know, because there's a couple people I feel almost disrespectful not including, but I am going to go with Jordan Canada.
Okay.
So 14.5 points. Is shooting 40% from 3. Hitting a 3 a game. 4 rebounds a game. 7 assists. And these, this is just a 2-game sample size, right? But here is a stat that I found eye-popping: 4.5 steals.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So, again, it's just 2 games, but I really thought that was, if anytime you're stealing the ball that much, he has 9 steals in 2 games. That's insane.
Yeah. No, that is. Yeah, similar, but I'm going with Ryan Howard because she's back. She's absolutely back. She had 30 points in a game against the Storm, and it's just great to see her back.
I thought she had a season-ending injury. I guess is it because of the Olympic year? Like she had more time? Is that?
She was injured, but it wasn't a season-ending injury. Okay. I mean, that's why she was able to do the 3-on-3 basketball.
Right. Of course. Who else? Did someone else get a season-ending injury? Someone else got a really bad injury.
Cameron Brink.
Yeah, I thought it was another player too. Anyhow, Ryan Howard, I'm jacked.
Okay. Anyway, she's my player of the week, and talk about teams making a run. Really curious to see what the Dream are going to be able to do here down the stretch to make up for some lost time, because it's been a bit of a disaster year for them as well because of injuries, and we expected them to take a leap forward, but these things happen. But this break was probably also good for them, even though Ryan Howard was in the Olympics. Like, they seem really in sync, really simpatico right now, and they're gunning for it, and that's really exciting to watch.
Agreed.
Okay.
Shout out to the Dream. Dream, Wings, Lynx, like those 3 teams, I feel like they could have all went different ways this year. And there's like a wicked team, there's a middle team, and there's a bad team. And the Dream, I really think can play spoiler. They're not just going to play spoiler; they can really make a serious run here.
Okay, Freddie, your fun question. Let's go.
Okay, FFQ, Freddie's fun question. Here we go. So Catherine shared with me, and this is amazing. This is like, this is a fun sort of like celebrity thing. So St. Vincent, rockstar St. Vincent, who, by the way, I've seen in concert. She's incredible. St. Vincent presented a custom guitar to Cameron Brink. So it was a very cool moment. And by the way, if you don't know St. Vincent, like, she's just one of these people who like oozes cool. So like her and Cameron Brink, like, it just was like a nice vibe. Anyhow, I thought, Catherine, it would be fun if we made our own sort of like recreation of this. And I want you to pick a celebrity, think of a gift, and a WNBA player that they're going to give it to. So I want to, do sort of like a celebrity WNBA gift moment.
Okay, this is a fun one. I like this. Real quick, Saint Vincent. Um, she did an album with David Byrne.
I love it.
Back in 2012 called Love This Giant, but
Mhm.
I only started listening to it this year because this isn't necessarily my genre. You know, I'm a
Sure.
pop or R&B girly.
You're stepping into my world, by the way.
Yeah, I love this album, and
That's
I've
great.
had it on repeat for quite some time. So I want to start discovering more of St. Vincent's music because I'm really into it.
Can
That
I just
wild?
ask? I love it. I'll tell you this. I saw her. This is like a very Toronto specific reference, but me and Caitlin went to the Danforth Music Hall, and that's where she was performing. And every single song she had, there was like choreographed dancing, like while she was holding the guitar, and it was very cool.
That's very Talking Heads.
Yes,
because they also do that. Yeah.
And I was going to say to you, I mean, can I just please encourage you if you haven't already, if you're heading that way too, David Byrne's one of my favorite artists ever.
I didn't know this.
Yes, I love the Talking Heads. I love David Byrne.
Oh,
he's for anyone who's not like neurotypical, he's like really a special person. So I encourage you, if you want to go down a David Byrne rabbit hole, he's the best.
I have been going down a David Byrne rabbit hole. I've seen the documentaries. I got American Utopia on vinyl recently.
Wow. Okay. Here we go. Beautiful.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll have to share some songs later, but I just wanted to tell you that.
I love this.
Okay, my idea is, there's some recency bias here. But it was the first one that came to my head, and sometimes you just got to go with that, right?
I love it.
So I thought about Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart.
This is already great.
At the Olympics. So Snoop Dogg went to every single event, right? But he specifically went to an equestrian event with Martha Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
And they looked really nice, like in their equestrian like get up and stuff like that. And I just thought it would be so funny if both Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart gave, I don't know why I selected her, but I selected Sabrina Ionescu a horse. Literally, if they gave any WNBA player a horse, it would be so funny. But that was just the first one that came to my mind because I just thought I could picture her in the equestrian outfit. But literally any player, this would be hilarious.
This is why we do this. This is why we play the game. This is why
even if it was, literally anyone, if they were like, I present you this horse. This is, I don't know, Juno. What are horses named? I have no idea.
Juno seems like a good one.
Like a good horse.
Well, because I think there's like regular horse names and then there's like racing horse names. And if it's like racing, it's like no, but this Professor Palmetto the Third.
This is like equestrian, like we're posh, we do tricks, we do jumps.
Yeah. This horse is named Daryl.
This is like a different world, you know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, that's the type of horse. I just think it would be really funny. And then they could do like a whole riding lessons together. It would be so funny.
I love it. This is fantastic. Here, okay. Are you ready for mine?
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you a picture just in case you don't know. But again, you've been going down a David Byrne rabbit hole. Okay. So
is that your celebrity?
It is. So I had someone loosely, but I was like, this was there anyway, so this is too perfect. So have you ever seen Stop Making Sense? One of my favorite movies of all time.
Yes, I have.
Okay. So I present the David Byrne Big Suit. I
know the Big Suit. I know this reference.
Okay. The David Byrne Big Suit is going to be presented to the Coach of the Year. So if you're the Coach of the Year, David Byrne gives you the big suit, and that's
for anyone who doesn't know, it's like giant shoulders, extra long arms, like it's Like it makes your head look really tiny.
Yeah,
That's the big
you look like a turtle. It's amazingly weird. It's
Sandy Brondello, just
Sandy Brondello, big suit. Let's go. Like,
yeah, maybe Cheryl Reeve. Anyway, yeah, that's really funny. I thought you were going to say bicycle because he's a bicycle enthusiast. Did you know that about David Byrne?
I did. He wrote a book about biking.
Yeah, he's written books about it. He rides his bike everywhere in New York City.
Wow.
He rode his bike home after filming the American Utopia special. It's at the very end of the movie. It's really funny because all these fans are trying to like be like, oh my god, David Byrne, and he's just like on his bicycle.
He's like, see you guys later.
See you guys later.
Yeah, he's a weirdo. He's the best.
I like that. That's really cute. I feel like yeah, that would be really funny, especially if the coach was a Talking Heads fan. Then that would be extra special because it wouldn't just be a random suit.
It would also be special if they didn't know who he was. If they were
like, for you, not for anyone.
They're like, who are you? And he's like, here's your big suit, you know?
Oh my god. All right, let's wrap it up there. Thank you everyone so much for listening, for tuning in. Please remember to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell your friends about us. You know, we're getting into the playoff mode soon. You know, very exciting times for the league and for us, of course, because we love this time of year. So thank you again, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks everybody. Peace.
Bye.